I found a second phone in my wife's car, and I wish I never turned it on. I wasn't even suspicious of her. That's the worst part. If I had been, maybe I would have been more careful. Maybe I would have seen it coming. But that night, it felt completely normal. She asked me to grab her gym bag from the car. She said she forgot it. Nothing unusual. We'd been married for 6 years. No drama, no cheating, no weird behavior. At least, that's what I thought. It was around 10 p.m. Cold, quiet. One of those nights where everything feels still. I remember thinking how peaceful it was, which makes this even harder to process now. I opened the car. Her stuff was everywhere like always. Water bottle, receipts, some random makeup. I leaned over to grab the bag from the passenger side, and that's when something fell. A phone. At first, I didn't even react. I just picked it up automatically like you do. But the second I held it, I knew something was off. It wasn't her phone. Different case. Cheaper. Older model. No notifications. No lock screen messages. Nothing. Just blank. And here's the thing I can't explain. I didn't feel curious. I felt uneasy. Like my brain already knew this wasn't something I should touch. I almost put it back. Honestly, I should have. If I had just closed the glove compartment and walked back inside, none of this would have happened. But instead, I pressed the power button. The screen lit up instantly. No password, no Face ID, nothing. That was the first moment my stomach dropped, because nobody keeps a phone like that. Nobody. I stood there for a few seconds just staring at the screen, trying to convince myself there was a normal explanation. Maybe it was an old phone. Maybe she used it for work. Maybe... Yeah, I was already lying to myself. Then I opened the messages. There was only one conversation. No name, just a number. That alone felt strange. Who saves a number like that? I tapped it, and instantly, my chest tightened. Every single message in that chat was from her. Dozens at first glance. Then I scrolled, and scrolled, and scrolled. Hundreds. They went back months, maybe longer. At first, I didn't even read properly. My brain just picked out words. I miss you. I wish I could stay longer. I hate going back home. Yeah, you already know where my mind went. I actually laughed, not because it was funny, but because it felt unreal, like I was watching someone else's life. 6 years? 6 years together? And this is how I find out? I kept scrolling, faster now, looking for something clear, something undeniable, and I found it. I love you. Sent at 2:14 a.m. I don't even remember breathing at that point. My first thought was simple. Who is he? Not why, not how, just who. I checked the number. Unknown. No picture, no name, nothing. That's when something else hit me. There were almost no replies, just short ones, scattered between her messages. I slowed down, started reading carefully. Don't text so much. Keep it short. Delete after. I frowned. That didn't sound like an affair. That sounded like rules, instructions. I kept going. I can't stay long next time. I told him I have a late meeting. My stomach twisted. That part made sense. That part hurt. But then, don't bring your ring. I froze. Okay, that still tracks, right? Except the next message didn't. Stick to the plan. I read that again and again. Plan? What plan? Suddenly, it didn't feel like I was reading a love story anymore. It felt like I walked into something I didn't understand. And the worst part? I couldn't stop. I went back to the top of the conversation. This time, slower, careful. Like if I read it differently, it might somehow make sense. It didn't. Her messages were emotional, messy, too long. His, short, controlled, cold. Be on time. Don't improvise. Follow instructions. Instructions. That word again. I felt this weird pressure in my chest. Not anger anymore. Not even jealousy. Something else. Something heavier. I kept reading. I think he suspects something. Pause. Then act normal. I blinked. That message wasn't about love. That wasn't comforting. That wasn't even caring. That was management. Like she was part of something. Or someone was controlling her. I didn't like that thought, so I tried to reject it. No, I said out loud. This is just weird role play or something? Yeah, that's how far your brain goes to protect you. I scrolled further. Dates, times, specific days. Thursday, 22:30. Parking lot B. 15 minutes max. That's not an affair. That's a schedule. And then I saw something that made my hands go cold. Is he home? There was a long pause before her reply. No, he's working late. I stopped breathing. That was me. I knew that schedule, because it was mine. I checked the date. I was working late that night, exactly like she said. I felt something shift inside my head, like a click. Everything started connecting in the worst possible way. This wasn't random. This wasn't emotional. This was planned. And it had something to do with me. I scrolled faster now, not even reading properly again, just searching, looking for something, anything that would prove I was wrong. And then I found it, a message from him, longer than the others, unusual. Make sure he doesn't see anything. My heart started pounding. I didn't even realize I was gripping the phone too tight. Check his routine again. Send updates. Updates? On what? On me? Suddenly, I felt exposed, standing there in the dark, like someone was watching me. I turned around instinctively. Nothing, just the empty street. But the feeling didn't go away. I looked back at the phone, and for the first time, I didn't want to keep reading, because deep down, I already knew this wasn't about cheating, and whatever this was, I was already in it. I should have stopped there, closed the phone, walked back inside, pretended I never saw anything, but I didn't, because at that point, I needed to know. I opened the photos. At first, it looked normal. Random shots, blurry images, nothing clear. I almost felt relief, like maybe I was overreacting. Then I opened one, and everything changed. It was me, sleeping. I didn't understand it at first. My brain just refused. The angle was wrong. Too close, too low, like the person taking the photo was inside the room, inside my house. I felt my stomach drop. I swiped to the next photo. Me again, standing in the kitchen, half turned, unaware. Next, me leaving the house. Next, my car, parked, time-stamped, date, location, everything documented. I stopped swiping. My hand was shaking now. This wasn't just information. This was surveillance. Careful, detailed, intentional. I forced myself to keep going. There was a folder, no name. I opened it, and that's when I really understood how bad it was. Photos of my schedule, screenshots, my work hours, my usual routes, even notes, short ones. He leaves at 8:10. Gym on Tuesday. Parents on Sunday. I couldn't breathe. That's not something you guess. That's something you track. Over time. Carefully. And then I saw something that made everything worse. A picture of my parents' house, taken from outside, zoomed. Like whoever took it didn't want to be seen. I felt this cold wave go through my entire body. This wasn't just about me anymore. They knew where my family lived. I stepped back from the car. For a second, I actually thought I might throw up. I looked at the house. The lights were on. She was inside, acting normal, like none of this existed. Like I wasn't standing there holding proof that something was very, very wrong. And then I heard it. The front door, opening. My heart stopped. She was home. I froze. For a second, I didn't know what to do. Run? Hide the phone? Pretend? Too late. The front door closed. I heard her footsteps. "Hey, did you get my bag?" Her voice sounded normal. Too normal. I quickly locked the phone and shoved it into my pocket. "Yeah," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. She walked into the hallway, smiled, and for a moment, I just stared at her. 6 years. How do you look at someone for 6 years and not see this? "You okay?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah, just tired." That was the first lie. She stepped closer, and I swear, for a split second, her eyes flicked to my pocket. Did she notice, or was I just paranoid now? "I'm gonna take a shower," she said. And just like that, she walked past me, calm, relaxed, like nothing was wrong. The bathroom door closed. Water started running. That's when I moved. Fast. I went to the living room, closed the curtains, checked the windows. I didn't even fully understand why. Instinct. That same feeling from earlier. Like I was being watched. I took the phone out again, unlocked it. My hands were still shaking. I went back to the messages, scrolled to the bottom, the most recent ones, and that's when everything escalated. "Tonight." My heart dropped. "Confirm when ready." I checked the time. That message was sent 20 minutes ago. I felt the room tilt. Tonight? What the hell was happening tonight? Then I saw her reply, sent just minutes before I went outside. "He's home." I stopped breathing. Home. Me. That changed something, because now, whatever plan they had was already off, or worse, it was already happening. I looked around the room again. Every shadow felt wrong, every sound too loud. And then, the phone vibrated. I almost dropped it. A new message, from the same number, 3 words. "Adjust the plan." I felt cold, really cold, because that didn't sound like panic. That sounded like adaptation. Like whoever was behind this was used to things going wrong, and fixing it, quickly. I stared at the screen, waiting. Another message came in. "Is he alone?" I couldn't move, couldn't think, because suddenly I realized something. If I reply, they'll know. If I don't, they'll still act. Either way, I was already part of it. And then, I heard the water stop. The water stopped. Every part of me was screaming to put the phone back. Act normal. Pretend I never saw anything. But I couldn't, because now I knew one thing for sure. Whatever this was, it was happening tonight. And it involved me. I looked at the last message again. "Is he alone?" My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. If I did nothing, I was blind. If I acted, I might expose myself. I had maybe, seconds before she walked out. I made a decision, a bad one, or maybe the only one I had. I typed, "No." I stared at the screen. 1 second. 2. Sent. I immediately regretted it, because now, whoever was on the other side knew something changed. The typing bubble appeared, and disappeared, then appeared again, like they were thinking, calculating. Finally, a message came through. "Who is this?" My stomach dropped. Of course they'd notice. I froze. No way to fix that. No way to undo it. And then, another message. "Step away from the phone." My blood went cold. That wasn't a guess. That was control. Like they knew exactly what was happening. Like they could see me. Right now. I looked up, slowly, at the dark TV screen, at the window, at the reflection behind me. Nothing. But the feeling didn't go away. The phone buzzed again. Put it back. Short. Final. I couldn't breathe, because suddenly, I wasn't reading messages anymore. I was being told what to do, and I didn't know what would happen if I didn't. Then, one last message. Last warning. Silence. No typing. Nothing. Just that. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just planned. This was monitored. The bathroom door opened. I quickly locked the phone and slipped it back into my pocket. Too late to hide anything properly. She stepped out, hair wet, face calm, too calm. "You're still up?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah, couldn't sleep." She looked at me for a second, longer than usual, like she was checking something. "Did you get my bag?" she asked again. Same question. I blinked. "Yeah, it's in the kitchen." She didn't move, didn't go check, just stood there, watching me. And that's when I noticed it. Her expression, not worried, not confused, focused, like she was waiting for something. "Are you okay?" she asked. Same question as before, same tone, but now it sounded different, heavier, like it meant something else. I forced a small shrug. "Yeah, just tired." Silence, a long one. Then she took a step closer, and I swear, my heart nearly stopped. Her eyes dropped, straight to my pocket, just for a second. But that was enough. She knew, or at least, she suspected. "Can I see your phone?" she said. Casual, too casual. My brain froze. Why would she ask that? Unless this wasn't about trust, unless she was checking something. Timing, position, control. "I left it charging," I said. Another lie. She didn't react, didn't argue, didn't even question it. She just nodded and smiled. That smile was wrong. Not fake, not forced, controlled, like everything else tonight. "Okay," she said quietly, and turned away. Just like that. No tension, no conflict, nothing. Which somehow felt worse, because normal people don't act like that. Normal people push, they question, they react. She didn't. She adjusted, like she already expected this, like this was part of something. I stood there, frozen, trying to decide what scared me more, the messages, or her, and then my pocket vibrated again. I didn't move, didn't breathe, because I already knew whoever was on that phone was still watching. I didn't take the phone out. I just stood there, listening. She moved into the kitchen, opened something, closed it. Normal sounds. Too normal, like everything was exactly the same. But it wasn't. Nothing was. My pocket vibrated again. Once. Then silence. I slowly turned my head. She was still in the kitchen. Back to me. I had a choice. Ignore it. Or look. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I pulled the phone out just enough to see the screen. One new message. No sound this time, like they didn't want to alert anyone. I opened it. Living room. My blood went cold. I didn't move, didn't react, just stared at those two words. Living room. That's where I was, which meant one thing. They knew, not guessed, knew. I slowly lifted my eyes. The TV, black screen, my reflection, and behind me, darkness, nothing, but it didn't feel empty anymore. It felt occupied. The phone buzzed again, another message. "Don't turn around." My heart slammed, instinct kicked in. I almost did exactly that. But I stopped myself, because if this was real, then reacting was exactly what they wanted. I forced myself to stay still, to breathe, slow, controlled, like nothing was happening, like I wasn't being watched in my own house. Footsteps. She was coming back. I slipped the phone into my pocket again. Too late to think, too late to plan. She walked into the room, looked at me, and this time, she didn't smile. "Why are you standing like that?" she asked. I didn't answer, because I didn't know what version of the truth was safe anymore. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Then, her gaze shifted, past me, for just a second, toward the dark part of the room. And in that moment, everything inside me dropped, because that look wasn't confusion. It was recognition, like she knew something was there, or someone. The phone vibrated again. I didn't move, didn't need to, because I already knew, whatever this was, it wasn't outside anymore. The phone vibrated again. I didn't take it out this time. I didn't need to, because whatever was happening, it was already here, in the room, with us. I looked at her, really looked this time, and suddenly, all the small things I ignored before started making sense. The late nights, the random errands, the way she sometimes checked the windows without saying anything. This wasn't new. This had been going on for a while. "You need to tell me what's going on," I said. My voice was low, tight. For the first time, she didn't answer immediately. She just stood there. Then, slowly, she exhaled, like she'd been holding it in for a long time. "I was hoping you wouldn't find it," she said. Not denial, not confusion, confirmation. My chest tightened. "Find what?" I asked. Even though we both knew, she looked at me, and for the first time that night, I saw fear. Not for herself, for me. "They've been watching you," she said quietly. My stomach dropped. "They?" I repeated. She nodded. "I didn't know how to tell you," she continued. "They told me not to." That word again. Told. Not asked, not suggested. Told. "Who are they?" I asked. She shook her head. "I don't know exactly. I never saw them. Only messages, instructions." That matched. Too well. "They contacted me months ago," she said. "They said if I didn't cooperate." She stopped. I stepped closer. "If you didn't what?" Her eyes filled slightly. "They said they'd hurt you." Silence. Heavy. Unreal. "So you just, what? Helped them," I said. It came out harsher than I meant. "I was trying to protect you," she said quickly. "I did everything they asked so they wouldn't escalate." I almost laughed, but nothing about this was funny. "By tracking me?" I said. "By sending them my schedule." "I had no choice," she whispered. The phone vibrated again. This time, louder, longer. We both looked at my pocket. At the same time, that was new. She knew exactly what it was now. "Don't answer," she said immediately. "Too fast. Too certain." "Why?" I asked. She hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. "Because if you do," she said slowly, "they'll know we're both off script." Off script. That word hit different, like this whole thing was already written. I slowly pulled the phone out. She stepped forward. "Don't," she said again. But I already made my decision, because at this point, doing nothing felt worse than any risk. I opened the message. 3 words. "We see you." My heart stopped. Not, "we know," not, "we think." "We see you." Present tense. Now. I slowly lifted my head, and for the first time, I noticed it. A tiny red reflection in the corner of the TV, barely visible, blinking. A camera inside my house. I turned slowly, following the angle, and there, high in the corner near the ceiling, almost invisible, was something small, watching, recording, always there. I felt this wave of cold hit me all at once. "They're inside," I said quietly. She nodded. "I tried to find it before," she whispered. "I couldn't." The phone vibrated again. Another message. "Don't move." I looked at her. She looked at me. And in that moment, we both understood the same thing. This was never about cheating. This was control. And we were already in it. The lights flickered, just for a second, then stabilized. The phone buzzed one last time. Final message. "Wait." Silence. No more messages. No movement. Nothing. Just that word. Wait. For what? I don't know. And that's the worst part. Because now, every second feels like a countdown. And I still don't know what happens when it reaches 0.